Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Center Yourself. My name is Basira Lawal and I welcome you to this space. I recently have been more, inclined to make videos. I've thought about it for many years. I've done one or two videos here and there, but I really am making an effort to take it seriously at this time. So here we go. So today's topic, as you can see from the title, is the unspoken truth, childhood trauma in Ghanaian homes. Childhood trauma is something that lives with people for many years and decades, sometimes for most of their life, if they're unable to heal from it. I think it's not really talked about how much trauma children in Ghanaian homes go through, because it's either made to be funny, made to be humorous. It's seen as being part of the culture, and it's just seen as a way of life. So anyone who goes against that is heavily ostracized or made to feel like they're not a good person because they're not abiding by these abusive cultural norms that we tend to have when it comes to raising children. So I guess we can start off with giving other adults who do not feed the child, do not clothe the child, may not even, may be very oblivious to the child's, upbringing or safety, but in an effort to exert power and control, will use disciplining of the child to seem concerned, and all of a sudden they want to be a part of raising the child when it comes to inflicting violence on the child. And I'm here to say it is not okay to allow people to give your child corporal punishment just because they're an adult. There has to be a discussion about the fact that you will not allow corporal punishment to be an acceptable form of punishment, and on the contrary, you would prefer that they call you and have you speak with your child in the event of an issue, a problem, or anything like that. Okay. Verbal abuse is very common in African homes. It's more common than you think. And I feel like this happens as a result of parents who did not really think through how much they wanted to be parents, but they decided to be parents again because that's what's done in the culture. And so they see the child, or the child appears, comes into the world, and then all of a sudden they realize that maybe that's not what they wanted, right? So though they feel obligated to care for the child because they're responsible for that child, they inherently do not like the child. They are unhappy of the responsibility of having to care for the child. And so verbal abuse becomes a norm. And it is so sad that our first abusers often are from our families of origin, and specifically our parents, whether mother or father. Fear-based parenting also ties into the verbal abuse and the corporal punishment, by threatening and doing and saying things that make the person fearful. And this is so detrimental to a child's developing brain and their mental health as an adult with a fully developed prefrontal cortex. And I say this because a lot of people suffer from anxiety and depression because of what they had to go through with the parenting style that their parents chose, which was fear-based. I just thought that I would shed some light on this issue because it's not one to be taken lightly. And sometimes you may see an adult who is not well adjusted, is not stable, is having severe financial difficulty or having severe relationship issues. And even with therapy and help, unfortunately, because of the scars that they've endured from childhood trauma, it becomes very difficult for them to lead a normal life. This hits home for me because growing up in a West African household, as a child, you always want to feel like your parents mean well. But as you get older and you see the ripple effects of some of the parenting strategies that were used on you and how it affected your life, you start to wonder why. And you start to obviously want to reparent yourself, If you're being intentional about your healing and your wholeness, you want to reparent yourself. You want to unlearn some of the conditioning that you've had to go through as a child. And you definitely don't want to pass that down if you have children yourself. So I just wanted to make this short and sweet video about this topic. If you like topics like these, let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion, and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.